YouTube is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I've never quite stuck with it long enough to see any kind of an impact, which is a bad habit that I have. I've had pretty much my entire life of starting something and not finishing it or not seeing it all the way through. And what I'm doing right now is a challenge by Higher Up Wellness on Instagram. Highly recommend following him and his content. But the challenge is to, his side of the challenge is to speak in one take to the camera for at least 60 seconds and to do it for 100 days, I believe. At least doing it for 30 days. And I decided it was a good idea to do it on YouTube and to do it for at least 4 minutes because YouTube prefers longer form content. So I'm on day 14 right now. And to be honest, it's gotten to a point where I think the novelty is worn off and there aren't really any results. And I told myself going into this that I was going to do it for consistency and just building the habit and not care so much about results. It wasn't about getting views, it was about getting to 100 days. And less than 20% of the way through, I'm feeling discouraged, feeling flat. And I got a few views, nothing crazy, but a couple views on a couple videos back to back to back, less than 20. But it was cool to see it upticking. And lately I've seen none of that. And I didn't even know what to talk about for tonight's video. I've always had trouble. I've had trouble coming up with topics since I started this, but some of them felt like they came to naturally, or I just started talking and it worked. But lately, I've realized my videos are going pretty long, well over 4 minutes. So I'm going to try to keep this one short. And I told myself I didn't really need to worry about the views and I shouldn't care. I should just do the work. And to be honest, that held up for a bit. It was exciting, or it was motivating that I was doing them every night despite being tired, despite fasting. And it felt good to just get it done. Now it's gotten to a point where I saw some views come in and then they disappeared and then they flattened out. And it is hard to wonder why I'm doing this only 14 days in. Because when I saw some views and engagement come in, it felt good. There was feedback or engagement. But once that withered away, even though it was only a little bit, I've questioned what the point of this is. And I'm trying to keep myself focused on the action itself, which is to do 100 days, to get to 100 days, even though I really don't want to right now. And I think that's telling, because it's not telling, it's what's expected. If you look at my track record, I start things, I do them 40, 50, 60%, 70%, and then I stop. And in this case, 14%. But the main thing being that the consistency doesn't last a long time. And there's been some things that I've done consistently for a while, but never to the point where I wanted to. So I do understand that consistency compounds. But I guess this is normal. There's a part where whatever you're doing stops feeling new. It's always fun to do it because it's new. New things are fun to do. And if you get some results from it, then it feels good. But you get to a point where the novelty ends and the results that you want aren't really there, and you question what the point of it is. Most of the videos have gotten less than 10 views. Some of them have less than 5. So when you're feeling flat, as I am right now, I think it's because the effort and the focus becomes results based, which is natural. Humans want to see results. We want to see that things are making progress and moving forward. But in order to achieve anything, in order to get good at anything, you you have to focus on the effort. You have to focus on the input, not the output. You have to be free from the outcome, because the outcome's out of your control. You can't do anything about the outcome. And I think the only thing I can tell myself to keep going is that if you go to the gym and you keep going to the gym, you keep pushing yourself, you're not going to see results for a while, but you will eventually see results. And just because you don't see results immediately doesn't mean that the muscle isn't being built, doesn't mean that the fat isn't being burned off. Same thing with eating right, or eating nutritionally, or hitting your macros on 1 day or 2 days. You don't feel any different, you don't look any different. But that doesn't mean that your body recomp isn't starting. It doesn't mean that your body isn't changing things around. But the results that you want will not come immediately. And it doesn't mean that you quit. So just because you can't see the results doesn't mean that they aren't there. And that's what I'm telling myself right now. That I don't know what I'm building with this. I don't know what the point of it is. If at the end of it, which I think is the intention behind the challenge, is to speak better, to be more articulate, to convey your ideas, I think in a more succinct manner with clarity. And if I get nothing by the end of it in terms of results or views, but I am more articulate, I'm able to speak with brevity and clarity, then that's a win. That's a huge win, and I think it's something that will, the results of that will, I'll see the results of that in my life later on down the line, or in other places that I might not even realize. So it's tough to keep going when you aren't seeing the results that you want, and it's tough to keep going even if you tell yourself you don't care about the results, or you're not going to worry about the results, because doing the same thing over and over and not getting anything from it is the definition of insanity, I think, per what Einstein said. But anyway, when you're doing something and you want to see it turn into something, or you want to continue doing it, you hope that you get different results from it. You hope that you start to see something happen from it. And if you're doing something that's measured in some way, like, videos are measured with views and engagement and likes and whatever and growth, and you're not getting that, it is hard to keep going. But I don't think anything is built. I have to remind myself that nothing is built in 14 days. Most things aren't even built in 100 days. The tangible side of it isn't built in 100 days. Most things take months, if not years. The intangibles are building from day one, right? Like, your discipline is building, your ability to speak is building, your ability to put down the food that you shouldn't be eating, your ability to show up to the gym. Those are intangible things that are building from day one, because every time you do it, it builds. But you have to do it over a long enough period to see the tangible results. So that's kind of it. I think when you don't feel like doing something because you're not getting the results that you want, you should remember you become out. I think that happens when you become outcome focused. So it's good to reframe and remind yourself that the only thing you can really control is the input. And I think part of this is also not to just keep doing something without scrutinizing it and thinking about ways that it can get better. I think if you do something over and over again, you become good at it. If you do something over and over again and you review what you did, even just reviewing it, you'll become great at it. But if you do it over and over, you review it and you analyze it and improve upon it, that's how you become a master. And I've only just been doing this. I haven't gone back and watched most of my videos. So I think that's where I need to start. And also just need to remind myself, it's not about how many people watch it right now or the engagement or subscribers or whatever. It's about the fact that I show up and keep doing it and do something for 100 days. So that's what I'm going to try to do.